So I just watched the full season of Alien Earth, and what's wild is if you took the xenomorph out of the show, absolutely nothing changes. It's a classic case of I want to write my own sci-fi story, but I use the Alien franchise so it draws in more viewers. Let's get into it. Now, I'm not kidding when I say, if you take the xenomorph out the show, nought changes. The ship would still crash into the Earth as pretty much all the creatures got loose anyway, and the ship had a saboteur on board. The boy Cavalier would still capture the various species and take them back to his island. Utani would still sabotage and invade his island, and his lost boys, the hybrid synths, would still turn against him. They're full-on Raiders of the Lost Arctic. Okay. In my first impressions video, I brought down exactly why this series breaks established lore in canon, so you can check that out if you've not already seen it. For this series to be at least semi-enjoyable, you have to just accept that it takes place in a universe separate from the Alien franchise. It's the only way it makes sense. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say everything in the series was awful. There's some interesting concepts like the eyeball alien. The fact that it's an intelligent, sentient life form that knows math and science is crazy. It's funny because the eyeball's such a unique creature that it could have been the main focus of the series without aliens being involved. Also, I like some of the casting characters. Samuel Blenkin as the boy Cavalier is a great antagonist who has plenty of charisma as well as being entertaining to watch. It's the kind of character where you think to yourself, his death's gonna be good. Tim Oliphant's character Krish is probably one of my favourite characters. It's hard to tell what he's thinking and planning or even whose side he's on. And for me, he seems to be the most intelligent being in the series, regardless of how much the writers have the boy Cavalier tell us he's the smartest character. Babu Kise also deserves a shout out for his performance. His character definitely has the most depth out of anyone in the show. Now, like I said in my first impressions video, I'm not a fan of the child hybrid synths. The only entertaining part of that story is the acting and dynamics between Jonathan Ajayi's Shmi and Adash Gurav's Slightly. Their scenes are pure gold every time they're together. The rest of the hybrids aren't great, but the worst is Wendy. Not only is she annoying, but this Murray Sue of a character can communicate with xenomorphs by tuning into the frequency, which allowed her to instantly learn the language and essentially control them, and for no other reason than she was almost killed by a xenomorph and hurt her head. It's just so dumb and lazy. Also, now you have an Alien franchise where the usual main antagonists, the xenomorphs, are now working alongside and helping the story's protagonists. Because that's exactly what fans of the franchise have been wanting, friendly xenomorphs. They could have given us a new colonial marine story with a Praetorian as the main antagonist, but nope, we get this bullshit. Now, did anyone else notice that the soldiers on the island have worse aim than stormtroopers? Every single scene where they shoot, they miss. There's one scene in a corridor where 4 or 5 soldiers move around a corner and have the Xeno dead to rights. Yet, they still miss. It's actually ridiculous how bad their aim is. It's not just their aim either, it's the reaction time. The woman who got ate by the plant-looking alien had bare time to dive out of the way, or at least shoot it. But no, she just stood there looking up, then looking at her friends, which was more than enough time to get the fuck out of the way. Another thing you may have noticed is how the music never really fits the scenes. It's like the soundtrack's just doing its own thing, completely disconnected from what's happening on screen every time. Now, I know what you're thinking, what about the CGI and gore? Well, for the most part, the CGI is quite impressive and there's plenty of gore. I think where the series falls short though are the well-lit xenomorph scenes. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad they're using practical effects, but the xenomorphs actually look better in Alien Resurrection than they do throughout this series. As for the ending, it was exactly as I expected, an open-ended mess. I mean, why give us a self-contained story when they can give us a half-arsed cliffhanger that resolves nothing? Overall, the series is better than Romulus. There's no black goo or face-or morph bullshit. If you ignore the established canon and lore and treat it as its own sci-fi story in its own universe, then it's at least watchable, even though the xenomorph feels shoehorned into its own story. Did I have fun watching the series? At times there were some cool and funny moments, but I don't see myself rewatching it. If they make a season 2, I'll probably give it a watch just to see what happens with the eyeball alien, but I'm not expecting it to be good. But what about you? What are your thoughts on Alien Earth? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Let me know down in the comments, and if you could do me a solid by liking and subscribing, it'd be much appreciated. I hope you all have a great week, and thanks for watching. Until next time peeps, stay frosty.